Ladies and gentlemen, the Euros are upon us, and we have asked some of your favourite content creators to give us their predictions for the upcoming tournament.
Alright, you cheeky badgers, it's Charles here from Monday Sportif giving our Euro hot takes.
Yes, boys, the Euros is here. Excuse me, I think I'm coming down with a bit of something. I think it might be some Euros fever.
Hi guys, here are my predictions for Euro 2024.
Hey guys, it's Sonny from Sonny Talk Spurs.
So the Euros is upon us, but who is going to be the winner?
These guys have lost their heads. These guys have lost their heads, man.
I believe it's Platini who holds the record for 9 goals in a European competition.
And Peroni for most outrageous takes on a podcast.
Always has been. It's time for the Euro 2024 prediction for top goal scorer, aka the Golden Boot.
Top goal scorer then, obviously, if I'm saying that England are going to win it, you naturally kind of look towards someone like Harry Kane. I did think about Phil Foden, but I do worry about Foden in this England system. I think he's going to have a good tournament, but from what we saw against Iceland last night, playing in that number 10 position, it was a little bit uninspiring. However, he's had a long old season for Man City. Again, I think Bellingham being back in the team supplements Foden a lot more, but I think it's hard to look past someone like Kylian Mbappe. He is a safe bet, isn't he, Kylian Mbappe? He is a safe bet. France in the last Euros got knocked out in the round of 16, but I can't see that happening again this time. And I think they will be England's main competitors. I think Mbappe is going to have a great tournament. I think he's coming up to 25 now. Is he peaking at the right time? He's got so many more tournaments ahead of him as well. But I think this one, I think he's going to take home the Golden Boot.
Top goal scorer, I'm going with Olivier Giroud. So consistent for France. Always stepped up in international tournaments. Still think he'll lead the line for them over Randall Colomwani or Marcus Thuram.
First up, top goal scorer. One of the amazing things about the qualifying campaign was just how many goals went in. I think we are living in an age where goals go in, week out, every round of qualifiers. It looks great. The likes of Rasmus Højlund did well. McTominay from Scotland suddenly popped up, and the ever-present Cristiano Ronaldo was there. But one player was head and shoulders above all the others. It was the Belgian wonder boy, Romelu Lukaku. He scored 14 goals to be 4 or 5 clear of everyone else, and he was scoring a goal every 35 minutes. He was very tidy in front of goal. I think Belgium have quite an easy group, and I can see Lukaku really racking up the goals via penalties, free kicks, headers, whatever he wants, he can do in a Belgium shirt. Who knows what went wrong at Chelsea, but this guy is a top-tier elite player. And for me, our top goal scorer in the Euro 2024 is going to be Romelu Lukaku.
And the top goal scorer obviously will then be Harry Kane, because the man's on fire. He's had a good goal scoring season. I know he's not won a trophy, but this is going to be his first trophy in his career.
Top goal scorer, again coinciding with that, it could be Kylian Mbappe, probably will be, but because of the delusion, as we all seem to love with England, Harry Kane is bringing the Golden Boot.
Interesting takes there.
Some very interesting takes. Some that I'm not sure I agree with.
Some that I definitely agree with. So we've got 2 shouts for Harry Kane.
I think that's the one I agree with the least.
Didn't he get 2 goals in the last World Cup?
On the international stage, I don't want to hear it. He doesn't persuade me.
I don't know. I think, we saw him against...
He's a bagsman.
We saw him against high-level position like Bosnia, coming off the bench, getting on the score sheet almost immediately. He's a talismanic striker. He's a bagsman.
Probably the best striker at the tournament, but he's in a system that is so unpredictable and not very good.
It's too predictably bad.
And I don't know. I haven't seen him do it on the biggest stage. Is he that kind of Spurs Bayern Munich bottle job curse? I just don't think.
I call Bayern Munich bottle jobs.
Well, this season. So I think maybe I'm not going Harry Kane.
But yeah, his goal record only matched by someone else who's been shouted for, Kylian Mbappe. I think the obvious pick, maybe
hard to look past him.
Is he the bookies' favourites? He's got to be there or thereabouts. Him
especially
and Harry
with the Real Madrid aura.
Yeah, I think Mbappe is the one to beat. Dougie coming in with a shout for Olivier Giroud.
I like it. I think 4 years ago, 2 years ago even, I'd give it. I think now he is on literal last legs.
I think for top scorer, you've got to be looking for someone who's going to play 90 minutes every game, who's got a good injury record, and whose group is particularly weak. And for me...
France's group isn't that weak.
Exactly. For me, there are 2 teams whose names I would be targeting for the top goal scorer.
Hit me.
Someone from Portugal.
I like that.
And I was flirting with the idea of going for Cristiano Ronaldo. However, I believe his minutes might be managed, and there will be rotation between him, Jota, and Goncalo Ramos. So I've gone for someone who's nailed
and ready to go.
I'm joining. It was Monday who said, "Big Lukaku." He's got a fairly easy group.
Yep.
Belgium should run through the likes of Ukraine and Romania, and I expect them to put up some numbers. He's got good attacking threat up top, and he's got the best playmaker in the world on his team.
I agree.
So yeah, for me, Lukaku's the one.
I won't copy you. I won't go Lukaku. I think he is probably my best shout as well. Also like Mbappe as a shout. I think they're my top two. But I'll throw one out there for you. A bit of a rando one in the sense that maybe... I think you go strikers, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno Fernandes for top goal scorer.
I think, like you said, you need someone that plays 90 every game. And he plays 90 every game for Portugal. And Portugal in probably the weakest group at the tournament. And possibly my strongest team at the tournament. I think Bruno Fernandes will be that guy.
Yeah, I think they came out of the qualifiers with the most goals.
Most
least goals conceded.
Absolutely.
So yeah, no, definitely. For me, the only thing that put me off Portugal was that rotation. They've got so much depth up front that maybe they will look to rotate.
But no one does what Bruno Fernandes does. And I've slagged him off.
You're a big Bruno hater.
I'm a big Bruno hater. But
right, yo, let's move on to our dark horses.
Dark horse then, I've gone for Portugal. Sort of a dark horse, not really. It's not a Turkey shout, it's not a Hungary shout, someone like that, who have actually had a really good and encouraging qualifying campaign. I think they're in the group with Germany and Scotland. I think they could get out of that for sure. But I'm going to go with Portugal, mainly because a lot of people aren't pipping them to win it. However, I think they could go all the way. They had a great qualifying campaign. I know Roberto Martinez doesn't exactly excite you as a manager at this level, but he's got them playing great football. He's got so many options, so much firepower up front. Say what you want about Cristiano Ronaldo playing in the Saudi League, but he's banging so many goals in over there. And in tournaments, he always turns up for Portugal. They've got a pretty straightforward group, but I think they're quite worthy of an outside bet, given the talent they've got in their squad. You've got the likes of Diogo Jota as well, who can come into that forward line. So much young talent like Vitinha, João Neves as well, Gonzalo Ramos, João Felix, who were both great at the World Cup for them. And I think Bruno Fernandes is going to have a really good tournament as well. A lot of criticism around him in the Premier League last season. However, I did think he was a lot better than people were saying. He was one of Man United's most important players. And I know he riles up people, he rubs people up the wrong way, but I think he's going to have a big tournament.
Dark horse, I'm going with Ukraine. I think they've got a pretty favourable group. I think there's a decent chance they get through along with Belgium in that group. They've got players coming off great seasons like Artem Dovbyk and Viktor Siankov at Girona. They've got Lunin, who's had a great season for Real Madrid. I just think they might spring a surprise, and they've got amazing cause given everything that's going on with the horrendous war in Ukraine as well.
Next up, dark horses. Well, I don't know if you can call someone a dark horse if they're in pot one, but it's Belgium for me. Everyone talks about their golden generation, but I think they're only actually just getting going. The maturity that this team has as they just go tournament to tournament and getting more caps is fantastic. Can they finally do it? Let's find out. Up top you have Lukaku, but behind him are two incredibly informed players. Jeremy Doku has done absolute bits at Man City and looks like the real deal. On the other side, you've got Trossard, who can't stop scoring for Arsenal, having not been able to stop assisting last season. And of course, the magnanimous Kevin De Bruyne. He's back, he's injury-free, and he looked great for City this season. I think when you put in the likes of Witsel, Tielemans, you have a good base at the bottom of that midfield, and I can only see Belgium getting a lot of goals. They do have a chance of taking on France, I think, early on in the knockouts if everything goes to plan, and whoever gets through that tie can go quite far. So for me, our Euro 2024 dark horses, it's Belgium.
Dark horse is a weird one because I hate the term dark horse because people just say the Netherlands, but they're quite good. Like, they've got a good squad, but are they a dark horse? I mean, they're probably not in the favourites category, so I might go for the Netherlands. I think they've got a nice little squad there. Ronald Koeman, back in that job, he should be okay. I think they're quite underrated, but dark horse, I don't like. People called Italy a dark horse, but they were good, weren't they, in the last Euros?
Dark horse, I'm going to go with one that kind of usually is a dark horse, kind of weirdly. They usually just kind of come out of nowhere and still do quite well. And although the team is slowly fading into kind of a new generation, I still think Croatia will still always have something to say in this tournament. They always have something to say, and I think in this tournament, again, they're going to show why they are still one of the best footballing nations.
Couple of shouts that I would never classify as a dark horse.
We need to redefine what a dark horse is.
I know it's an ambiguous term, but I'm not having Portugal and I'm not having Belgium as
I'm
dark
not
horse
even
shouts.
having the Netherlands.
Netherlands are a weird one. Definitely wouldn't have pre-tournament, but they've just lost
Frankie de Jong.
and they've just lost Coop Miners. So now they are a little bit ropey, but still, I'd call them a bit more dark horsey than
Portugal
Portugal, who are my favourites to win the bloody tournament.
and Belgium, who have got like one of the best squads at the tournament. And
Best striker in the tournament, maybe.
And they've got an
Lukaku,
easy group.
and best playmaker in the tournament.
So, yeah, we might have to redefine what a dark horse is.
But thank you for the submissions.
But there was one really interesting one in from Dougie who said Ukraine.
I agree. Before we got our submissions, we had our own kind of dark horses, all our own decisions. I went with Ukraine as well. I think, like Dougie said, they've got a young squad with a lot to fight for. They've got the La Liga top goal scorer in Artem Dobrik up top. They've got Zinchenko, who's kind of a seasoned winner and playmaker.
Got Lunin in goal.
Lunin, good. They've got a good backline. Mikalenko, Zabiani's good. I like them, obviously, and I think they fit the bill for a dark horse. No one's even considering them maybe even getting out of their group. But I think they've got a lot of firepower, and yeah, they could surprise some people.
Yeah, Jacob also popped up with Croatia.
I like that as well.
More of a dark horse than the other three.
Because we did a preview for that group, check it out, and we said Croatia had passed it over the hill, and we had 1,000,001 Croatians message us and say, we love it when we're underestimated.
Keep underestimating us.
We'll show you why we're like semi-final, final, past few tournaments. So Croatia might surprise us.
I mean, I think they actually come away with a win against Portugal in the last round of international friendlies. Can only take so much from that, obviously. But maybe they're still here. Maybe they've still got a point to prove. Maybe they're not quite done yet. For me, I'm going to Austria.
Ralf Rangnick's Austria.
Ralf Rangnick is behind the wheel, and he is going to steer Austria to the last 16 minimum. They have a group with Poland, Netherlands, and France, and I can really see them upsetting one of Netherlands or France.
Well, as we said, Netherlands, now that they've lost pretty much their entire midfield.
I think Austria beat Poland.
Yeah.
I think Poland are the weakest team in that group, and I can really see them getting something against Netherlands, and even maybe a draw against France or a surprise result. I can see them getting through and being a difficult team, one of those teams that you wouldn't want to face in the round of 16.
I like it.
So for me, that's who I'm going for, Austria.
Austria, Ukraine as the dark horses. What we got next, Luke?
It's time for the flops.
Jeez, you hate to see it. The floppies is over, but it's back.
Flop team then. I think I'm going to go for Italy. That Italy squad is a little bit uninspiring. I think a lot of people look at it and think because there's a lot of unknown names, but I just look at it and think there's not a lot of cohesion within that squad. They might surprise a few people, but also when you look at the curse in the World Cups and the Euros in the past of the winners then going out early in the following tournament. It happened with Italy in 2010 in the World Cup, won it in 2006, then got knocked out in the group. Germany, winners in 2014 in the World Cup, knocked out in the group as well in the World Cup in 2018. I'm purely going off a feeling. I'm purely going off a feeling of a curse. They're also missing key players. Destiny Doggy, obviously Spurs fan, been instrumental for us this season. Unfortunately, season curtailed by injury. I'm just not seeing it with Italy. Maybe I'm wrong.
For flop, I'm going with Italy. So many injuries racking up. They're already missing 7 players that would be picked for their 26-man squad. Scalvini getting out with an ACL injury. And I think Spalletti's messing around with his strikers. He's still starting Retegui rather than Scamacca up front. And I think that's a massive error. I don't see them getting out of that group with Spain and Croatia going through instead of them. They tend to go very high and very low in consecutive tournaments. So having won in 2020, I can see Italy flopping.
Unfortunately, we have to pick a flop team of the tournament, and for me, it's going to be our defending champions, Italy. Domestically, Italy have done fantastically well. They have 5 Champions League positions. They progressed all over Europe and did very well. But I think at a national level, they will just struggle, unfortunately. They're in the group of death. They have Spain and Croatia, both well-drilled sides who I can see going deep into the tournament. And unfortunately, I don't think Italy are going to pick up enough points or goal difference to pick up that third runners-up spot to go into the last 16. So for me, unfortunately, good as they are and progressive as they could be, I think Italy are going out in the group stage.
Flop team's a weird one, but I'm going to go for Portugal. I think they've got a good squad, but they've got Roberto Martinez as their manager, who he ain't good. He's not good.
Flop team, I think Spain. I like what Spain have got going. The striker options, though, are dreadful. The midfield options aren't actually that bad with the likes of Pedri, Xavi, if they can stay fit. Obviously, they play ridiculous amounts of games, and I'm not 100% sure if they're actually fit going into this tournament. I might be wrong on that one, but I think they are. But up front, I just don't think they have enough, and I feel like they will flop massively and could potentially go out in the group stages.
Wow.
Mamma mia. 3 votes for Italy as the flop team.
We had Italy, Portugal, and Spain.
There's a lot of big dogs in there, and a lot of no England. And I know everybody that we've got is English. Actually, minus Charles from Monday, but I don't know.
Yeah, for me, Italy are quite an obvious shout, I think. They're reigning champions, so it's easy to go at them because anything less than defending the title was a flop, really. They haven't got the strongest squad. They've got a lot of players returning from injury. They've had a few players left out. And they're a bit of an unknown quantity.
I think that's what Italy enjoy. I think if they go in kind of underestimated, maybe in similar vein to Croatia, people don't go into them thinking, oh, it's going to be the hardest game we've got. But then Italy just rack up the points, get themselves through the tournament, and then they kick on and
Build on that confidence,
hit the best form at the end of the tournament rather than
they know how to get through tournaments. And I think people are looking at this Italy squad and thinking, oh, we don't see the names of Chiellini and Bonucci in there. You know, they don't have this rock at the back anymore. But they've replaced them with really good centre backs.
Bastoni, Inter Milan Serie A winner.
Yeah.
Barella, Inter Milan Serie A winner. DiMarco, Inter Milan Serie A winner. They got winners in that team.
They've got lots of winners in that team.
Donnarumma, PSG Liga winner.
They've got Scamacca, who will likely lead the line, who did an absolute number on Liverpool.
Europa League winner.
Europa League.
So,
yeah. They've got Donnarumma, fantastic goalkeeper.
Jorginho, he's seasoned winner.
They've got pedigree. So I think it's a bit of a rogue shout, but
3 people said it, so there must be something there.
There must be something there. We had Portugal as well, which is a big claim because a lot of people tout them to be dark horses, if you consider them that. But interesting. Jacobs pulled out Spain.
I think Spain and Portugal, they flatter to deceive a little bit. I think they could be got at, but I think they just got too much quality for most teams in this tournament.
I think Spain are going to dominate games so heavily that it'll be hard for them to flop.
Yeah.
It would be really hard. And I think Jacob said that that going forward they haven't got enough. I think we both disagree on that. I think Morata might be one to surprise us.
Morata, I can't think of an international tournament where he's been poor.
He had a really bad last Euros, I think, where he missed loads of sitters.
Did he?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought he still got goals, though.
I was reading somewhere they had a tournament to miss, and it does click in my head. I can't remember if it was the last World Cup or the last Euros. But he's had his best goal scoring return this season. And yeah, I think Spain are going to just dominate games. They're going to suffocate teams. They might be the Arsenal of international football. The way that they dominate, the way that they create chances, the way they suffocate teams. And I think they're going to be high scoring.
And then Portugal, I think, so the kind of thought was that Roberto Martinez isn't that guy. And I do agree to an extent.
That's the reason that they won't win it.
I think there's just too much quality in that team for them not to get anywhere near kind of semi-finals minimum.
Yeah. Right, who's your flop?
My flop of the tournament, I know he said that their injuries in midfield kind of puts them down a peg, but I still think they've got enough quality to not be as bad as I think they're going to be. Netherlands.
Yeah, they should still, with the likes of Koeman missing, with the likes of De Jong missing as well, they've still got enough firepower going forwards in the likes of Xavi Simons, Cody Gakpo. They've got such a good defensive unit in Virgil van Dijk, Van der Ven, De Ligt. They've got Jeremy Frimpong as well.
Yeah. Denzel Dumfries, yeah.
Yeah, they've got strength everywhere. It's just that midfield is going to be letting them down. They should still be progressing through the group, so anything less than that is definitely a flop.
I think they're going to flop.
What would you class as a flop for them?
Don't get out of the group, and I don't think they will.
Do you think if they don't
They're
reach
in your
the
boys,
quarters?
Austria's group, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I think Austria might get out of the group, and the Netherlands might not.
For me, I was very, very close to going with
Do
England.
it. Do it. Don't be a little bitch.
No. Because I believe.
You don't.
If you do not believe, you do not achieve. I'm going, though, because for England, yeah, let's be realistic. Anything less than
Final
a close,
or win.
unless we go out in a close semi-final where we give it our all and lose to a dodgy decision or something, a final a win or nothing is a flop.
Yeah.
We have to win this tournament.
Yeah.
We have to win it. We've given Gareth Southgate the chances. However, my actual flops, who I think will flop, are Germany. I believe Germany, the pressure of being at home is going to get too much for them. The mechanical machinery, the robots that they used to be, they are not that anymore. I think they may have some decent performances, but I think they're going to be lackluster in the knockout rounds. I think they'll go out in either the last 16 or the quarters, and I don't think that's good enough for Germans on their home soil. They've got a really good squad.
Yeah.
They've got two of the best 10s in the world in Florian Wirtz and Jamal Musiala. They've got quality throughout. They've got maybe the best centre-back in the world in Antonio Rudiger.
I reckon
they've
they're
got
gonna do
Joshua
well.
Kimmich. They've got Kai Havertz, who's had a fantastic season. They've got Sane. They've got Gnabry. They've got fantastic players. But I don't think they'll do it.
Jeez.
Germany, you are das Flop.
Das Flop, yeah?
Das Flop, yeah. Right, let's move on to the best player.
Best player, then. It's hard to look past someone like Kylian Mbappe. I went for him for top goal scorer, but I'm going to go for Jude Bellingham. I think Bruno Fernandes is a good shout as well, but I think Bellingham, with the criticism that he's had over the last 3 or 4 months, nonsensical criticism from England fans as well. Why do we do it to our own? I just think he's going to step up. I think he's going to be so raring to go in this tournament. I think we're going to see Rooney 2004 levels. I think he just exudes something. I think he's got so much aura about him. And I know people say that you're glazing on Jude Bellingham, giving him all this praise for stuff that other players don't get praise for. But he just has that unquantifiable, amazing ability about him to produce moments. Did it countlessly with Real Madrid throughout the season as well. And I think he's going to do it on the big stage for England.
Best player, it's difficult to look past someone like... Well, if Portugal are going to win it, I'm going to go with Bruno Fernandes. I think he's finished the season exceptionally well at Man United. He played really well in one of their warm-up games last night. And yeah, I can see him having a massive influence on this tournament. Also, don't sleep on Rafa Leao as well. I think he hasn't probably had that explosive tournament yet, but I think he's got a very decent chance of lighting up Euro 2024 kicking off next Friday.
When it comes to best players, it's hard to look beyond Kylian Mbappe. The guy just keeps breaking records for France. He is their captain, even at his young age, and with his move to Real Madrid coming, I think we're all ready to see him step up to the next level. He has silverware against his name for France. He continues scoring and assisting. But my word, what a player. He's so exciting. He's maybe the first player in a long time to continue on from where Messi and Ronaldo are. He will be a future Ballon d'Or winner, and I think for this tournament, we'll see him head and shoulders above those around him. So my player of the tournament is Kylian Mbappe.
Best player, I think that's a tricky one. I'm going to go Jude Bellingham. I think he's going to just cement that world scene. Maybe Phil Foden, maybe Harry Kane, but I'll go with Bellingham. He's had a great season. He wants to win that Ballon d'Or, doesn't he?
On to best player, and now again. It's coming on, boys. Jude Bellingham is winning the best player award. He's going to be vital in terms of goals and assists. I think he's going to get some big goals in big moments. He's also going to be integral to how we defend, specifically in set-piece scenarios. I think Bellingham, he's already the complete package, and I think going into this Euro tournament, he's arguably one of the best players in world football right now. Equally, though, could see it maybe being a Phil Foden, maybe, or more likely, again, probably Kylian Mbappe. Probably got the best shout going into this. Arguably the best player in world football at the moment. But I'm going to go with my guns. I'm going to say Jude Bellingham.
Hey, Jude.
Everybody has well and truly lost their heads.
The composure is gone.
Mate, the tournament is here and England fever is high. 3 votes for Jude Bellingham. One thing I will agree with, Ben said he exudes aura, and I definitely agree. I think in that England side, he is the guy, so young as well, but he's the guy that I think the whole squad looks to. You see in those 2 friendlies against Bosnia and Iceland, he wasn't playing, and the whole team looked a little bit lost.
You're lacking that guy.
You're lacking... I know Harry Kane was missing for like 1.5
But
games.
he's not aura like Bellingham.
That's exactly it. Bellingham is like aura and like winning aura now that he won the Champions League.
What he brings an ability to just immediately up the intensity of the game by making a good tackle, by just charge through the middle of the pitch, being able to turn and just go, and he changes the tempo of the game instantly. He's fantastic. However, I'm going to make a prediction now.
I like it.
England are in the knockout stages. It's a little cagey affair. He might be on a yellow, he might not be. But then suddenly something's going to happen and he's going to get a red card. So he's going to do something stupid and be scapegoated. I have a weird gut feeling. I'm going to call it now. Jude Bellingham to be sent off during the Euros.
Mad. Right, let's talk about the other best player at the tournament. We've got one vote for Bruno Fernandes, and I agree. I had him as my top goal scorer prediction, and I think, like we said, if he's getting the top goal scorer and Portugal go far, hard to look past him as best player at the tournament as well. Yeah. I think he's going to be absolutely orchestral in that midfield. I think, like we said, he'll play the 90 minutes. He'll kind of dictate whatever Portugal do going forward. And I think he's going to have a really good tournament. I think he's got a point to prove with how bad Man United were this season. He didn't have a great season. I know they won the FA Cup, but I think he is a special player, and he's kind of getting tarred with a Man United a terrible brush, when I think he knows he's an upper echelon player, and he'll show it this tournament.
What might help him as well is the fact that
he's not
Man
surrounded
United,
by
he is the main man.
Yeah.
He's the captain. He is the leader. He's the one that everything has to go through. But for Portugal, it doesn't have to be like that. He's going to be more free to roam. He's going to be more free to sort of maybe go back to what his original game was when he was at his best and be that player who's picking up space in the pockets. He's going to be able to get forward, not have to be the orchestrator from deep, and he can get more involved in the end sequences, which I think is going to benefit them and benefit him.
And then the other shout was Mbappe.
Yeah,
who,
Mbappe.
Obviously, like we said, we whacked Liverpool about Mbappe. He's the best player in the world. And in the France kind of setup that is pretty much just tailored to him. That's crazy.
I've gone for Mbappe as well.
Talk to me.
I've written that's the obvious answer, but that's for a reason. Since his debut in March 2017, he leads France's goal involvements chart.
Of course he does.
75 goals and or assists, which breaks down as 45 goals, 28 assists.
Mad.
Second player is Griezmann, but he's second by some distance with only 52 goal involvements, 30 goals and 22 assists, 17 goals behind and 6 assists behind.
Yeah, I think Mbappe's cracked, and if France have a good tournament like everyone's shouting them to, he'll lead them there.
Oh, 100%. If they go far, he's going to be dropping the numbers. Like you said earlier as well, newly invigorated Real Madrid. He is a Galactico now.
He's going to be competing with everybody's shout Jude Bellingham for Real Madrid player with the most aura at this tournament.
100%.
That is the new award.
100%.
What we got next, Luke?
Our next one is our one to watch. We're talking players. Which is a player? Who is the player?
An underrated, underappreciated gem.
Who is the player you should be keeping an eye on?
One to look out for then, it's got to be Lamine Yamal from Spain. I'm not exactly inspired by Spain's squad as a whole. I think their attacking options are pretty lacklustre, especially in the striking positions. But out wide, they've got a lot of exciting talent. They've got Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal. So exciting for Barcelona. So exciting. And I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. And I think he's going to make that step up fairly easily. I think it's going to be one of the bright sparks of the tournament. And I think he is going to be my one to watch.
One to look out for, I've already mentioned him, but I'll go with Viktor Tsygankov of Ukraine. Had an excellent season at Girona last year. I feel like he's been known as the Ukrainian Messi for a long time now. He's peaking just at the right time. Left-footed, can play as a number 10, can play on the right wing. He'll be whipping in balls for Artem Dovbyk, who is an absolute demon in the air. And of course, they know each other from this season at Girona as well. So yeah, I'm going with Viktor Tsygankov as my player to watch in this summer's Euros.
Who's going to be our rising stars then, the ones to look out for? The two players I've gone with both play on the right wing, and they're at slightly different ages, but their outputs completely go ahead of their years. First up for Spain, Lamine Yamal. He just looks incredible. The guy's still a teenager, 16 years old when he got his Spain debut. And he's just going from strength to strength, both for Barcelona and for Spain. I can see people getting to see him for the first time, those who haven't seen him in a Barcelona shirt, and they will be super impressed. I know Spain found it hard against Scotland in the away leg, but actually after that they really sailed through qualification, and Yamal was a big part of that. So Lamine Yamal, great player. The other person is also on the right wing, slightly older than him, is Bukayo Saka. And a lot of people say, is Saka world class or not? That debate still rages on somehow. But I think in this England side, the way Gareth Southgate has him playing is very similar to what Arteta does. He gets a lot of the ball, a lot of aggressive passes, a lot of through balls. And I can see him getting goals and assists all over the pitch. When you've got Bellingham, Kane, Foden, Grealish all in the side, Declan Rice as well, I think you'll really see Saka produce. And I think this might be the tournament where people finally say this guy's a worldie. I could see him going near to being a top goal scorer, coming in off the right, and I can see him definitely being in the team of the year or team of the tournament. So good luck to Lamine Yamal and Bukayo Saka, my rising stars.
And one to look out for. That's an interesting one. I'm trying to think who could burst onto the scene and sort of make a name for themselves. And I might go for Anthony Gordon. I think he is going to be cementing himself into that England team, sort of come out of nowhere, a bit like Adam Wharton has as well. But I think, when you look at what he is doing at Newcastle and translating from the unders to the main England squad, he's going to be all right.
Player to look out for, one that's really had an amazing season, really. He's got 14 goals, 2 assists for RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga. Got some big links to the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea, I believe, and Manchester United going at this summer window. Benjamin Sesko is going to rip up the Euros, and his price tag, if the deal is not sought before the Euros, which reports are saying that they want a decision made before the Euros, I think Sesko is going to shoot up in market value. He's going to be amazing in this tournament and integral for his country if they are to try and progress, almost shockingly, outside of their group. Benjamin Sesko, I think people that don't know him are going to get to know him this summer.
Off the bat, we have 2 big shouts for Lamine Yamal, who is already becoming a household name.
16 years old, and to play as many minutes as he does already for Barcelona, he is the next kind of gen of special boys, isn't he?
Yeah, this is what this category is, the next gen of special boys. And
it's a weird name for it, though. We won't stick with that one.
We'll still stick with one to watch. But yeah, Lamine Yamal, for me, he's going to be the difference maker for the Spain side.
You see, he's already bagged a decent amount of goals for Spain. He comes on, he looks electric every single time. He was arrested for the 2 recent international games.
I thought he said he was arrested.
And I think, he is just so good. And he will hold down that right-hand side for Spain for a long time.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a real force to reckon with. And I believe teams in their group will be fearing the worst when it comes to
talking about holding down that right-hand side for a long time. My boy Bukayo Saka.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a one to... Well, I guess it is a one to watch shout. Because,
you'll be watching him.
Because not enough respect is putting on my guy's name. I'm hearing people say, Palmer should play outright. No. Last 2 tournaments, Saka has been England's best player.
I think Raheem Sterling was the best player at the last World Cup.
Disagree. Sacks.
I think Bukayo Saka
is a special player.
Special boy.
Specialist.
100%. Will he even be fit, though?
I don't know. I think it was good that he didn't play and then got like a little bit at the end of the Iceland game. Now you've had a week of training. I think he will be fit. My guy is robust.
Yeah, he is. That's one thing that he's always had going for him. Does he fall on the one to watch? I guess so.
Yeah. Who else do we have?
I think that means we're expecting him to be special this tournament.
Yeah, we're expecting
really special.
Him to pick up some headlines.
I would love to see that.
Sienkov, Ukraine. I like that as a shout from Dougie. Like we both said, me and Dougie, we think Ukraine are going to be a special surprise in this tournament. And I think Sienkov had a good season. And I think he could be one to watch, like a few of these Ukraine players could be.
Yeah. I believe his teammate Dobrik's up front, no?
Yeah, Dobrik up top.
So a bit of cohesion
I
there.
think Zabiani, who's a Bournemouth player, centre-back for Ukraine, I think he could be one to watch.
Yeah, Mikilenko from Everton as well.
They've got a nice little team.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Their whole team is one to watch.
Who else do we have?
Who else?
Anthony Gordon. How can we forget
I like
Anthony
it.
Gordon?
I like it. What I like about the Anthony Gordon shout is that the left-hand side for England is a bit of a mess.
It's open.
With no Grealish, with no Rashford, with no Sterling, someone needs to hold down that left-hand side.
Stick around after this video because we will be releasing our England versus Serbia previews and we might just be discussing Anthony Gordon. Because for me, if Kieran Trippier starts on that left-hand side, it makes sense to have his Newcastle compatriot on the left-hand side as well.
I agree.
And I think it's going to provide him... That left-hand side, like you said, is England's mystery zone. No one really knows what's going to happen. It most likely will be Foden out there. But if it's not, it opens the door for the likes of Eze or Gordon. I believe Gordon can really nail that spot down and make it his own for the tournament to come.
Right, Luke, tell me your one to watch this tournament.
My one to watch. So, I haven't gone too rogue, but I've gone for João Neves from Portugal. Portugal. I've written here, he's only 5'7", but he's a fucking amazing defensive midfielder.
It's good.
Monstrous, tenacious, and technically excellent.
It's like me.
No player averaged more touches than him per 90 in the Premier Liga. No outfielder bested his average of 8.2 possession regames per game. Only teammate Goncalo Ignacio beat his 77.6 passes per game. He might start as a sub initially behind the likes of João Paulinho. However, he will get time on that pitch. And when he's on that pitch, you best be watching him because this guy is going to be a talent to come. The Primera Liga always brings out fantastic midfielders, especially those deep line midfielders. Technically excellent, robust, physical as well. And he's only a little man. But he's going to show you what he can do because he is outrageous. So yeah, keep an eye on him.
So my one to watch was going to be Scalvini from Italy. Done his ACL, poor lad, so he can no longer be my one to watch. So I think I'm going to stick close to home. England, centre mid, Adam Wharton. I think he is going to maybe not start the first game, but I don't think the first game's going to go swimmingly for England. And Gareth's going to look to Adam Wharton as a solution. And he's going to be that solution, mate. And he's going to get a decent run in this tournament.
Yeah, I like the shout. He's such a quality player.
So good, mate. And yeah, I'm excited to watch him in this tournament. I hope he gets some minutes. What we got next?
Let's round it off with the one everybody wants to know. Who is winning the Euros?
As my winners, I'm going to put England. I think this is the year that football finally comes home. I think we've got the players. I think the excuses aren't there this time. I think you've got players playing in foreign leagues who are able to cope with pressure in big moments, like Jude Bellingham playing in the Champions League final, winning it. You look at what he's won in his first year. I think it's going to be so key for England. I think there are a lot of teams standing in our way, of course. France being the main one. Germany, I think a lot of people are sleeping on home soil, which sounds crazy, but I think a lot of people are kind of overlooking them a little bit. But with England, I think we're going to do it. I do think we're going to do it.
For the winners, everyone's talking about France, everyone's talking about Germany, everyone's talking about England, but I'm actually going to go with Portugal. I think they've got unreal depth in pretty much every position. You know, already won the tournament in 2016, but trying to avenge that defeat to Greece 20 years ago would be pretty dramatic. Surely Cristiano Ronaldo's final international tournament, I'm going with them.
And so we come to our overall winners. There are three teams that, for me, stand head and shoulders above the rest. There's a really aggressive-looking England side who I think will go well. I think they have a nice draw. And Gareth Southgate is maybe on his last tournament, can bring these players together. I don't think they'll win it. I don't think it's in their DNA. And I might be saying that as a Scotland fan, but we are where we are. Secondly, I think Spain look good. I think this Spanish side is starting to pull some results together in a way that makes them quite dangerous. But unfortunately for them, I just don't see them getting the winner's medal this time around. I'm going to go with one of the tournament favourites. It's France. They are just a sausage factory of players coming out and playing in the top leagues across Europe. They have so much silverware in their squad, so much experience. And of course, they've done it at international level. I think if they can integrate players like Saliba into their back line, which they haven't really done so far, they'll be even better than they are now. My winners for Euro 2024, it's France.
Winner, it's going to be England, obviously. I'm going out there with TalkSport and I'm going to be backing the boys all the way. They're going to bring that trophy home. It's coming home, all that stuff. Gareth is going to prove some of those haters wrong.
Well, I'm going to be biased, delusional, Southgate propagandist right now. I'm never usually biased, but lads, it's coming home. England all winning the tournament. They're beating Germany in the final. I might be in cuckoo land, I might be in dreamland, but Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, we're going to win the lot, lads.
From the sounds of it, it sounds like it's coming home. We had 3 shots for England. We had a Portugal and a France. 3 tournament favourites, I would say. Portugal maybe lesser so than England and France.
Yeah, so it's, I think, England and then France in the top 2.
England are the favourites.
Then after those 2 games against Bosnia and Iceland. But I think England are a valid shout. Well, they've had deep runs in the last few tournaments. So you'd think it's going to get incrementally better. Is it going to get incrementally better to the stage where they're going to win it?
The last one was worse.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still unsure. I think there's too many questions still to be asked. And the difference, if England are going to do it, it's going to require someone stepping up and being the leader, which I don't think we've had. And maybe that man is Jude Bellingham, like people have been touting him for player of the tournament. It's too. I wouldn't put my house on it.
No.
I wouldn't put my house on it.
I'd put my house on France, which is Monday's shout, and I do agree. Is that your shout?
That's my shout as well.
I think France is hard to look past. They've got so much quality everywhere, and they've got Mbappe, who is just the most clutch guy in the world.
I've gone with Mbappe as my best player. I think that goes hand in hand with the winner. If you win the trophy, you're very likely to win best player. If you put up numbers, he's going to put up numbers. He's going to lead France. He's going to go to Real Madrid as a European Championship winner.
That's huge. Me and Dougie are on a wave here. We both said Ukraine for one to watch, or no, dark horses of the tournament, and we both gone for Portugal to win the tournament. Like I said, I've had Bruno Fernandes for my best player. I've got him for my top goal scorer. Pretty much rimming that whole country for some reason. Yeah, I think they've just got too much quality. They're kind of like France and Spain in that, like, every position they've got a world-class player. But I think, yeah, they've just got too much quality for me. And most goals in qualifying, least conceded. Like, how do you argue with that?
They've got the easiest group on paper. I think they've got Georgia, Turkey, and Czechia.
Mm-hmm.
And if they put up some big numbers in those group games, you could really see them building up some steam, some confidence, and it wouldn't surprise me to see them go far. But I think the man holding them back is Roberto Martinez. I believe that France will win the Euros.
Hope you enjoyed our predictions.
Thank you.
Everybody else's predictions. Thank you to everyone that got involved.
Everyone's details, channels will be down in the description below. So
Ben Bowman, Jacob Horsfall, Dougie Critchley, Sonny Snelling, and Charles from Monday Sportif.
Thank you very much, guys. Everything. If you want to check out the channels, details will be down below. We do appreciate you taking the time to send in your predictions.
Let us know yours in the comments down below. Did you already say that?
Come back to this video after the Euros is concluded, and we'll see who has the worst shouts, because someone in here is going to have.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll put everybody's that was in the video, their predictions, out on socials and in the comments. You can put yours in the comments, compare, contrast, summarise in the comments down below.
Ladies and gentlemen, all that's left to do is enjoy.
Sit
the
back.
Euros is now upon us. Enjoy it. Drink it in, because it only happens once every 2 years, and it's going to be brilliant. Come on, England!